vine de India y mi primer y único trabajo es aquí, in English. I came in 1988 and the sisters embraced me. They accepted me. My son studied here. They understood that he was not Catholic, but he never felt discriminated against. I'm speaking for him. I never felt discriminated against. I was never forced to do anything. It was just what I did happily, participating. I always felt like a part of the family. The sisters raised my son pretty much in the convent when he was newly born so that I could teach here. So for me, the original meaning of the word Catholicism, which means, something that it's inclusive. And I really experienced that in Del Carmen. I've never felt discriminated against because of my religion or the place where I came from. I just wanted to put that here.
Carmen, I remember when we were in ninth grade, on our first class with you, you told us that English was your second language, and therefore you expected that as an act of honor, honoring that you were making the effort to speak in your second language, we had to do the same. And that for me is something that left this big impression in me, like I really need to speak in English here. Yeah. And right now I'm fully able to. I mean, I've had jobs where I don't speak Spanish at all, and I'm solely speaking in English. And people are telling me like, "Well, you don't sound Puerto Rican." And I'm like, "I do sound Puerto Rican. Let's start there." But I had the best teacher. I can assure you, I had the best.
And the other thing that you remind me of that I used to say a lot initially. Because here there's a sense in Puerto Rico that English is the language of the people who are like the ones that are imposing upon Puerto. And I said English was the language of the British that ruled over India. The language is not the thing that rules over you. It's all languages are good to learn. Learn all languages. I'm trying to learn Spanish here. So I say the same thing to this day to my students, that when I go out of the school, I speak as much Spanish as I can to learn Spanish. And they should practice English in the classroom in order to, if they want to learn English, they have to speak in English, right? So, and it works. That I know that argument, makes a good impression on the students. They don't feel compelled to do something. They're not forced to do it. Yeah. But they know that they have to. It's been a long career in the school, and I can say that the biggest satisfaction is in finding students becoming successful afterwards, right? So we push them to the maximum, and then when we hear about doctors in the local, Pavia hospital who are from our school, and
that's Del Carmen Hospital.
And then when I have to build a bookshelf, I can reach out to a Del Carmen student, and tax laws that will benefit the middle class. That's beautiful, Amanda. It was wonderful to hear that, because when you mentioned the French Revolution, I remember reading with you The Tale of Two Cities. Yep. And, I know that must have made an impact because of all the poverty, the Dickens's treatment of the lower classes and their difficulties, and, the fight for the right. But this is a mission, and I feel that having stayed in this little corner of Hatillo, Morales always says that it's the perla de
la diócesis. La perla académica. Somos un colegio académico.
Sí. Siempre, we've always focused on academics, and one of the things I've always been proud of is the fact that even though we've had good sports teams, we've never had, the emphasis has never been just entirely sports. Academics has been, primary here. And today I am the moderator of the Honor Society here. Mr. Morales used to be the moderator, and now I'm moderating the Honor Society chapter here. And I see, when this year, our student was the president of the West region. And when I saw that our students, when they were together with students from the, in the San Juan area, schools that are really huge in San Juan, and they could work on par with all of them. They could, and this thing that you talk about problem solving, they could do it because of the academic preparation here. The fact that they have opportunities to practice leadership in our school in different, in different ways, it's really helpful. And I noticed that they are able to be on par with the other students from other schools, even to this day. It's something that makes me feel satisfied and, feel that there's value in what we do. Right? Because you have to see the result in order to know what you're doing is right and what you're doing it well. And that's satisfying. Definitely.
There is value. We appreciate it.
And the English Journal, as we said, the public schools are saying project-based learning, but the English Journal, ever since we started in 1990, we have, I consider those like the pictures of your brains. You can go back there and see what you wrote. Yeah. And this year, the student whose father had studied here, the student who was the president of the graduating class this year, her father had been a student in our school, and his English Journal is in my closet, in my shelf there. So the English Journal that was done in the year that he graduated. So I'm really proud of the English Journal. I've managed to keep it up till last year. ChatGPT is kind of ruining it.
Kind of hard.
But we'll see how it goes next year.
Kalpana, are there copies of the Fresco too?
Oh, the Fresco. I have a few in my computer.
I remember the Fresco a lot because people left messages for other people.
Yeah, right.
But I remember that newspaper gave us so much skills in writing that when I studied my first year in Alabama, I took English and I took a course on Shakespeare. The professor thought I had copied my essay. He thought I wasn't capable of writing that good of English better than all of his students that were from the state. So he basically failed me because he couldn't believe I had to prove to him that I could write that at that level. My English skills were that great. I mean, in that time.
So you had the skills to challenge a stereotype.
Literally.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly was at that time. I remember in your class, she was the editor-in-chief of the English Journal, and I remember all of you were writing really well. I remember the essays that you wrote. I have the copy of the journal there. We were all writing really well. It's true. Yeah. It's extraordinary.
I remember we had to edit another.
We did peer reviews.
Reviews, and I edited one so good, like. Kalpana went after class and said, "Hey Eric, your essay was great. I've never seen such edited work or whatever." Those words like went with me so far that till now when I'm writing, I remember Kalpana saying that I wrote and I edited good English. So I mean, coming from I must say every teacher here, the words that they say go with you like your whole lifetime, because they never say nothing just for the sake of it. They say something and they mean it.
And there is like this huge fondness that you develop with the teachers. I mean, with Morales, with Kalpana, with Tanti, with Otero, yeah, and none of them were easy. Or like, by easy I mean like easygoing, or like it was an easy class. It was brutally challenging. You had to study. You had to develop the good habits of sitting down and reading, and not only reading but rereading to make sure that you're really understanding, and to organize your time to make sure that you like are able to fulfill all the different assignments that were like on your platter at the time. So there are so many things that really collaborate for one to now be able to do good as a professional and as an individual.